All right, good evening and welcome back to the April 7th, 2025 Board of Select Persons meeting. Please join me in the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I look for a motion to approve the March 31st meeting minutes.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? And I will abstain as I was not here. Motion to accept the warrants? All right. I have not had a chance. Okay, so we will have to review those and vote on those next week. Would someone read the announcements, please?
The next semi-quincentennial meeting for the town's 250th anniversary will be Wednesday, April 9th at 6 p.m. at the fire station. They are currently looking for groups such as scouts, churches, etc. to participate in the event. Please reach out to Lisa LePage for more information, or please attend the next meeting. You may reach Lisa at 651-1594 or llepage6@yahoo.com. The Library Chess Club will begin this Wednesday, April 9th at 6 p.m. in the library. It will be held on the second Wednesday of every month. You are welcome to bring your own chessboard. There are 4 available to use in the library. And the Select Board will hold a workshop on Monday, April 14th at 6 p.m. to discuss plowing contracts with the Select Board meeting to follow. The Planning Board will meet on Wednesday, April 16th at 7 p.m. The municipal office will be closed on Monday, April 21st for the Patriots' Day, and town reports are now available at the municipal building and or the town website. The Appeals Board has 2 vacant seats to fill. The Planning Board has 1 open seat, as well as the Budget Committee. Please reach out to the Select Board admin if interested at 793-4475. As a reminder, if you're speaking at a meeting, please go to the microphone so everyone will be able to hear. And as part of the hearing of citizens policy, no personal attacks on any individual or firm, including town employees, town officials, or members of the public, will be tolerated during any meetings. Please direct concerns about individual employees or town officials to the chairman of the Board of Select Persons outside the public meeting. Please stay current on town information by visiting www.limerickme.org.
Thank you. Next, we have department reports, and I see none. Yes, I see none. Old business, review of legal accounts. I have not had a chance to review the warrant. Is there any? No. No, okay. Cemetery mowing, veterans, and cemetery committee, there is nothing new on that. Recap on the Bricktown Hall accessibility policy and questions about the second floor. We are waiting on the fire marshal's office on that one. Lights for the municipal building, we're waiting for one more quote to come in. The walk was last Friday, right, Alicia? What? The lighting quote, we had the last guy come in last Friday.
No, we have one more waiting schedule.
Okay.
We have one quote back so far. We've had 2 electricians.
Perfect, thank you. And then the next we have revision of policies, sign off on a disbursement warrant for state fees and disbursement warrant for employee wages and benefits. However, we do have a ordinance that was signed into effect on June 10th of 2024 that kind of goes over that.
I feel like our town clerk, we looked at it and feel like that it could trump both of these policies.
I do believe that as well. It covers both of them in one. We should all have a copy of these, right? Alicia? We all have a copy?
Yep.
Okay. So this was on the policies that we were planning on changing or updating, but we do have an updated one, it looks like. I don't know if anybody wants any changes to this one. I know some of the changes that are in this one are not in the ones that we wanted our changes, so maybe we take this and review it. One of them being that only one select board member has to sign it off. So I think we can take this and review it and come back next week. With it being an ordinance, it would have to go out to public vote. Is that correct? No. It's already an ordinance. So can we change it without going to public vote, though? Do we have to? I don't have an echo on mine either. I don't know if that.
Can you hear me now? No.
My question is for an ordinance, do we have to go to vote to change it? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So we have the ordinance already in place on the policies that we have.
We're just wondering if the ordinance doesn't need any revisions, but would trump over the two policies. Maybe the policies are not what you need anymore. You already have the ordinance.
That's what I was, yeah. So I think the ordinance would trump it. However, the one thing that I do see on the ordinance that we changed on the policies were that 2 members. On the ordinance, it just says by at least 1. So I don't know if anybody else has any changes they want to recommend. We can come back next week with that. Next is the reviewing of the purchase policy. That was last signed 8/26/24. Did this come up at last meeting, or is this just one of the ones that were?
About bringing that one back, I think especially since we've been getting some bids and wondering if there needed to be some adjustments to the amounts of where we need to get the bids, like upping it or raising it. So that was the next one we wanted to bring. So I would figure you would want to review it and bring it back with changes or ideas for next week.
All right, so we will review that, the ordinance as well as the purchase policy, and bring those back next week.
Before you go to the next item, Brady, can we go back to the warrants for a minute?
Yep.
I make a motion that we pay the Verizon bill out of the warrants tomorrow. I went through them all. This one, if we don't pay it by next meeting, it's going to be late, and there'll be a late charge. So I make a motion that we send out the check for Verizon Business out of the warrants and approve that one item.
All right, there is a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? All right, that passes. Thank you, John. Quotes for tree removal. Bids are to be opened at the April 14th Select Board meeting, so next Monday. Bids are due by that April 14th at 12 p.m. And that is advertised, or
Bids have been sent out.
bids have been sent out. Perfect.
Proposal, I should say.
Proposal, okay, thank you. Town-owned properties snowplow contract workshop on the 14th at 6 p.m. That is to go over the revisions that we may want to make on the snowplow for the town-owned properties contract. My understanding is the workshop has to be recorded, so we're going to sit here and meet and we just work amongst ourselves. Is that correct? Okay. And I know that there was some, Bernie, you provided some changes, so we'll review those and we'll come on the 14th with any of our own.
The public's welcome to attend the
The
workshop.
public's welcome to attend, but they just can't speak. Is that, how I understand that? On a public workshop or? Yes, okay. Perfect. All right. The electric time clock, MRI, our payroll company is sending a demo video of the one that they have that their company uses.
So I reached out to MRI.
Julie and I had a conversation, and we felt like at least reaching out to them to see like if there's one that they recommend that other companies use, and they certainly have, she said there were a couple, so she said she would send me the demo videos of those two to at least review and see if that's something that we wanted to go with.
Perfect. Thank you. And we haven't got those yet, those videos? No, okay.
I'll reach back out.
Perfect.
Wednesday.
Progress on the sale of the Moore building. We are waiting for our attorneys to draft up a conflict waiver. And we have some changes in the deed restrictions. We need to enter those deed restrictions. So we are waiting for our attorney to draft that up.
A question out back.
Yes.
It's 8:30, it's my time anyway. Anyway, Stephen Plain. On the Moore building, before we pass papers, let's make sure that everything is out of there. I was asked Sunday to be on standby to move some of the stuff that's in there. I thought probably the stuff was out, but it's not yet, just so we don't have,
What's in there?
there's shelves and boxes and stuff.
Does it belong to the Historical Society?
Yes, that's what I'm saying, just so we get some of that. Before you pass papers is all I'm saying.
Did we sign the purchase and sales agreement?
I have not signed it yet, no, because
Then don't sign it
I'm
because
waiting
it
on those
says,
changes. Yeah,
whatever's
as
in there
is, where
stays.
is, and what's in it.
That's all I wanted to catch.
Yep.
All right, just, I was told Sunday, just, and I said, well, we gotta get everything out before they do anything. You know what I mean, when it's ready to go, so that's all. It means this weekend we gotta go over there and do what we do. Right, I mean, I've moved stuff in there, moved stuff out of there, but
Yep.
before all the papers are passed, it'd be good to have the Historical Society stuff completely out of there.
I think we can definitely reach out to the Historical Society and ask them if to remove their stuff, but the purchase and sales agreement states, once it's signed, what's in there is the new owners. So,
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying, before there's some.
Lisa.
Lisa LePage, Historical Society. We have spoken to Sean and Jimmy. They told us not to worry. They're going to give us plenty of time to get all the stuff out of there.
Okay.
There's a lot of filing cabinets in there. That's where all our historical families' information, everything is in that building.
Okay.
So we're going to do that, and then there's a couple of pieces of equipment, like a big, huge table. There's a few things, but they told us they're not pushing us to move it.
Okay. All right. Next I have on here is discussion of a new attorney. We will need a new attorney starting in May. Ben is leaving Jensen Baird. Jensen Baird is no longer doing municipal, where our current attorney is going. They cannot accept us due to conflicts of interest. So we do need to start the process of back to getting new town attorneys. Steve.
Steve McCann, Appeals Board, yeah. Can you send a memo to all the department heads? Because I felt kind of funny today. We've got an appeal coming up, and I had to talk to Ben, and he, oh, you didn't hear the news? And
I know personally I heard this news Friday
You didn't give it to anybody
Friday
till
at 4:30.
today.
I'm just, yeah, but I'm fine with it, I'm saying, but to the other department heads, so nobody's calling in?
Well, they're still representing us until May 7th.
Yes.
So
yes,
until we have a
but
new attorney, he's the only guy we got to talk
With our
to.
appeal probably won't be until then, John, is what
I
I'm
know.
saying, and that's what he was
But-
saying to me, just, yeah, I
You're
just
gonna
felt
have to,
once
and
he said that.
if you need help, you're gonna have to start it with him, and then he'll have to relay whatever information to whoever we hire, because
Yeah.
there's gonna be a period of in between.
Right, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
so everybody else, so all the department heads know this is gonna happen in the future, you know what I mean?
Do you have anything on that? You can say no. Do you have anything I didn't know if you had anything to add. You just looked like you had something to say.
Well, no,
I mean, yeah, we will share it. I think we just got it this afternoon. So, and like John said, you still have to reach out to Jensen Baird until May
get a
7th
no.
So
or 8th, so.
So Ben is leaving to go to another firm that handles municipal law. That firm will not take us on. Their real estate attorney, who's going to handle the Moore building, will handle that through the end because that's a real estate transaction.
And anything else
They can
that's
represent and
pending.
handle us for that. They did say that they had, as we got an email today, that the one other case he was looking at was, that they were dealing with was the Allaire Drive. That's over and done with now. So we need to take a look. There's only, I know of, one other firm. So we've, Jensen Baird is out. The firm he's going to is out. We've spoken to Bernstein Shore. The last one to talk to would be Eaton Peabody. They're the only other ones that,
I know of one, but I'm not going to mention the name right now until I talk to the principal of it.
okay, they do municipal law?
Yes.
Is it Drummond Woodsum?
No?
Okay. Because Drummond Woodsum is where Ben's going. He told that outright, and they're the one. I just want you to waste your time if it's Drummond Woodsum. So do we want to reach out to Eaton Peabody? I mean, I'm sure with Jensen Baird getting out of it,
They're all being in.
these other, firms are going to get inundated, so. Yeah, I think a lot of towns, municipalities are probably going to jump with Ben over to Drummond Woodsum, but we don't have that option, so.
So we'll
Where
reach out.
is Drummond Woodsum?
They're in Portland.
Portland, a marginal way.
Yeah, they're
They're in the Intermed building.
big.
What I'm thinking of is a similar name, that's why.
Okay.
All right, so we will reach out to Eaton Peabody. Perfect. And we get is it called a scope of their work? What we got from,
Yeah, I would first have them do a conflict check, and then from there,
My marching partner works there in high school.
thank you.
see, there's already a conflict.
Yeah. All right, so we will come back hopefully next week with some more information on that. Update on the Southern Maine modular lawsuit. We did get an email, as John mentioned today, that case is done and closed. This completes the case, and that was the only pending litigation matter that the firm currently represented in the town of Limerick. That's Jensen and Baird. That was as of today. So that is done. We can take that off the agenda.
The results of that,
The results.
The court awarded quiet title action to Southern Maine Modular and has deeded the property to them legally.
I think it states in the
Yeah.
Letter right here.
Yeah, we have received the attached order from the Superior Court today in the Southern Maine Modular Inc. quiet title matter. As you can see, the court has awarded title to Southern Maine Modular for 3 tax-acquired lots that the town sold it last year. This completes the case, which is the only pending litigation matter that our firm currently represents in the town of Limerick.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, and then additions to the June ballot. This is due to the town clerk by Friday. That's crazy. Earned paid leave question. So the drafted question is, shall the town vote to have the unexpended balance for the earned paid leave account roll over to a designated fund balance at the end of each calendar year? As earned paid leave is not something that always gets drawn down fully each year, instead of having to raise and appropriate the full amount each year, it will have its own account that will just keep the money that is not expended in that. Was there a motion to add that already? Okay. I think that wording is great. I don't think there's anything else. I don't have anything else if anybody. All right, so that looks good.
If that's good, you're good with it, then I would like to print the 7 copies for you guys to sign tonight before you leave.
Yep. We are good with it. All right, that is all I had for old business. New business, signed January 13th meeting minutes, approving myself to go on the town checking account with the treasurer. We need to re-vote on this.
So when the motion happened, I believe John motions and you second.
Okay.
So I think just now it's conflict. That probably should just be, so you have the minutes, you have the wording. Somebody just wants to motion it differently, and then we can sign those minutes and get them to the treasurer.
And how would I sign that? Because we weren't part of that meeting.
Yeah, I mean, it's a new vote, so it would be a new vote on.
But it's voting on the minutes of that meeting. We weren't part of that meeting.
No, so
You're going to do a whole new motion for it. Yeah. So those minutes where you're not going to vote on because, like I said, Brady seconds it. So it's, I think, a little bit of a conflict for him to be the one that's going to go on the account. So I just meant the wording. If you look, the wording is what similar to the new motion that someone can make.
I make a motion that Brady Connors go on the town checking account with the treasurer.
I'll second that.
All right, a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on that? John?
I was getting ready to vote.
Oh, all in favor? All opposed? All right, and I will abstain. Next, we have review 3 email requests from the CEO on violations. We have a copy of these emails from Stan. So the first one is requesting that 9 Weston Drive, it has been posted as uninhabitable under Title 17A. The owners have received many notices to secure or remove the danger. He's asking that the select board vote to proceed declaring it a dangerous building. The only expense that we will have is a public hearing. Needs to be advertised for 3 weeks. At the public hearing, the select board will hear from the public and the owners if present. After that, the board, if it has no other questions or concerns, can vote to declare it a dangerous building. This will allow the town to remove or secure to the property, and cost will be taken care of as a special tax to the property.
I went down and viewed this weekend, walked it around it. It's structurally sound. It does have to have a lot of work. That's all, but it's not a dangerous building.
All right,
Aren't the issues around the septic system, or am I wrong? Is that a different property?
that's the next one.
Sorry.
The next one, I will read.
With the board's approval, I'd like to call that person. I know, personally, I've known them for 40 years.
He's been here for a long time.
Been here a long
Yes.
time. One of the original ones on Secocas Lake. Does anybody have a problem with me giving them a call and seeing what the situation is?
I do not know.
Okay.
The next one is 110 Secocas Trail South has been in violation, as you're aware, for over a year, and the latest violation is an illegal subsurface system. A plastic cistern was placed in the ground to serve as a holding tank to 4 campers in the backyard, which is also a violation. Will the board vote on whether I can ask the attorney to have the property served and summons to court if necessary? Most of the time when a property owner is served by the attorney, they will correct the violation. Personally, I know this has been going on for a very long time and needs to be taken care of.
I read all the information Stan had on this one. I actually went down and drove by and looked at it, and I'm amazed that they haven't corrected this.
They've been given plenty of
I know,
warnings.
they've been given plenty of warnings, so maybe it's in order to have the attorney talk to them. beyond me that they've let it go this far.
So I think, is there a motion to allow Stan to talk to the town attorney to ask it to be served and summons to court?
I make a motion, we allow Stan to do it.
That's been a motion.
Any discussion, John? Do we really?
I'm okay with the motion, but we might as well wait till we have a new town attorney. No, I mean, the current town attorney is probably not going to be able to see this through. We've got less than a month, and I don't believe they want to take on any new, didn't sound like they want to take on any new actions. They'll help us, but as long as it's gone on, I hate to make it go on longer, but you might as well wait till we have a new town attorney, I think, but.
Well, if we're gonna do that, we ought to notify the abutting property owners so they know that there's some action gonna be taken. We're just waiting for a new attorney, because this has dragged on for at least a year and a half anyway. And it is a mess. It is.
I don't remember seeing them as a complaint in the thing.
It's been, as long as I've been on the board, I think it's been an issue.
We've known about it.
It's been noted from Stan. I know it's been an issue for at least 3 years. All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor of allowing Stan to contact the attorney?
When the new attorney comes in.
When the new attorney comes.
Okay. Yep. All right.
Going back to his first violation, are we gonna take a vote to postpone that to next week till Howard can contact the people? We didn't take any action.
We didn't vote on it, so
It'll stay on the business?
yeah, it'll just stay. Dean? Yeah, so from what I know one of the biggest violations is at one point their raw sewage was being pumped into the abutting neighbor's property over the rock wall. I know that there is unpermitted sheds and there is numerous campers in unsafe conditions. I think the campers are plugged into an electrical source that it's not supposed to provide for it. I would recommend asking Stan for more detail on what the exact violations are, or I can ask him and I can get back to you.
Sure, that's fine.
Okay.
I think the biggest thing is the illegal septic tank down there.
That's the new.
Dumping 4 campers in with a legal septic tank.
That's their fix to dumping it onto the ground. So, and then the next one is what? Yeah. The next one is Lot 10 in the business park has received multiple notice of violations. One for cutting and storing items within a buffer zone that in an agreement with DEP is not supposed to be encroached on. Also regarding the multiple vehicles that are not registered as a junkyard, which is also another piece to the town's agreement with DEP. Will the board vote to have the attorney send a court summon to the owner? So like we did with the second one, I would look for a motion. We can hold off, yeah. Hold off, or we can make a motion to have Stan reach out to the new town attorney. Either way, it can stay on the new business.
And there's a new attorney.
Okay.
You want to make that a motion so it just happens when the new attorney comes? And so Stan knows?
Can we wait till the new attorney comes on board and turn this over to him?
Perfect. Motion.
Second?
Second. Any discussion? All in favor? Perfect. Appointing a CEO deputy. Stan would like Jesse Winters as the CEO deputy. He's a CEO up in Parsonsfield. My only question on this is there any payroll that comes with this position? If so, I don't think we can appoint without having a...
Wasn't there an issue with this before,
With what?
this person?
Stan's been the CEO since I moved to town, so I cannot speak on it. I don't know if there was an issue or not before with him.
Jesse was the CEO before Stan was here. I don't know. I personally don't know anything about it, so
I'd like to see that table till at least next week.
Okay. Did you have something? Okay. All right, so we will table that until next week.
Can we invite him into an executive session to discuss the position?
Yeah.
That way, if there are any questions, we can,
Yep.
I'd like to see it get invited into an executive session before we fill the position.
And we already have something for next Monday, so would we have the executive session on the 21st? Or we don't? 22nd? 21st is East Patriots. Do we need to have a motion on that?
I make a motion, we invite the candidate for CEO, assistant or
Deputy.
deputy into executive session on what day did you?
22nd.
22nd.
All right, motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? All right.
Was this just the candidate or candidate and stand? Sorry.
We're inviting the candidate in if he wants to allow Stan.
Okay.
I think that's at his,
6, I think 6:30 would be fine on the 22nd. All right, next on the agenda is discussion of bonding from MMA. We have an email to review. This just goes over bonding requirements for different positions within the town. I know I have not had a chance to review this
Either have I.
fully, so we can bring this back. Or Alicia, do you have a synopsis?
This was on what Julie had brought up a couple weeks ago about bonding. So when I had reached out to Corinna about something else, I asked her to clarify the positions that Julie had told us so we were all on the same page. And if you
That's
look,
what the table
I'm
is.
pretty sure that they are all listed as people who do need to be bonded.
So the list was the clerk and deputy clerk, constables, general assistants, overseers, road commissioner, tax collector and deputy tax collector, treasurer and deputy treasurer, and plantations, treasurers, collectibles, and constables. Would the select board fall under the GA overseers? Is that the whole board, or just?
we're all overseers of the poor, so.
Perfect. Yes.
My understanding also is they have to have a background check. And if you do, you might want to check with Vinnie, because I know another town has their fire department do the background check, and because they do them on you folks, and we don't have to pay for it. If you go through MMA, it's about $25 to $40 a person.
Okay.
Can't you get that done through the deputy sheriff? Through the sheriff, rather, not deputy sheriff.
The sheriff's department used to do them.
Yeah.
We can check with them.
There's an online website. That's how I screen my applicants at my job. There's an online website. It's like $25 or something, $21 per person.
I think the sheriff's department used to do them, but you could ask Dottie. My question is, if you read this, so clerk, deputy clerk may require its clerk to be bonded prior to assuming the duties of office. So we know the clerk and the deputy clerk bonded. Road commissioner, the road commissioner must give bond to the satisfaction of the select person. So we're not expecting the road commissioner to get his own, I mean, this reads like they have to go out and get it, and that doesn't make any sense. Because it says the same thing for the constable, and it says the same thing for deputy and treasurer deputy. Before assuming the duties of office, the treasurer must give a surety bond to the municipality, subject to provisions found in 5601, which include the law may be corporate surety bond or an individual surety bond. The bond need not be for more than twice the amount of taxes to be collected during municipal year. The municipality pays for the bond, and the municipal office is sole judges of the sufficiency of the bond and surety. So, I mean, we've always got these people bonded as officials of the town. I'm assuming that's sufficient, but can you check on that? And, I mean, make sure that the way we bond them through MMA meets the requirements? I'm assuming it does because they do it.
I was going to say of
But
MMA.
I would hope it does because they're the ones that we pay the bonds for. So I can't imagine that we're expecting any of these people to get these bonds on their own and provide them, but it kind of reads like that.
And Dottie does the background checks here. It does not cost anything now.
Oh, it's like 3 boxes. One's a public office if it's something. Okay, as long as we can do background checks for free, or it doesn't cost money, that's even great. Next on the agenda is review abatement explanation from O'Donnell's. So this is somebody who applied for an abatement of municipal property taxes.
So if you read, I believe, the top, I think he's saying at this point there's
It
not,
should go to a superior court.
well, there's not really anything for the board to decide. I think says like the denial part of it. It sounds like it's the
I believe
interest.
I do not
that
believe the
they're-
abatement process is the appropriate process to challenge the interest on a past due tax.
Yeah,
I
it's the
believe
interest.
I believe the challenge should be done in a superior court as declaratory judgment. He gave the statute. Since I am not sure about this, I believe the best strategy for the board is to not act on the application, let it be deemed denied. So I'll let other people review it if they want.
I've seen it.
I already read it.
Perfect.
I thought the next course of action on, if they're not happy with the denials, they go to the York County Commissioners.
Correct.
Not just the court. I thought I heard you say Superior Court.
At the York County level already, too.
So doesn't it come to us, then York County, then back to
I
us?
believe it was
Yeah.
already
The
denied.
commissioners have already,
I believe it was already denied there. It's the interest that he is,
oh, okay.
The next line, Mr. Blank
I could be wrong, but
can then appeal to the county commissioners.
That hasn't been to the county commissioners yet. He needs, so by us not acting on it, it will be, we don't have to vote to deny it, because you don't do a negative motion anyways. We don't act on it. That becomes denial. So if we don't answer him, he can say, I've presented this, they haven't acted on it. He now goes to the York County Commissioners to see if they deal with interest, and then they will most likely tell him that this is an issue we deal with either, and then it will eventually end up in the Superior Court.
Please make sure that at least one board
Dottie says it,
member
Doug?
represents the town. Don't just let the individual go there without one or as many as you want, but please have someone there, because that's backfired before.
So Dottie now says it's already been there. But that says their next step would be to.
Yeah, I'll pick off from where I stopped. I believe the best strategy for the board is to not act on the application, let it be, quote, deemed denied, unquote, by allowing over 60 days to elapse without a decision. See snip below. The person can then appeal to the county commissioners, and their attorney can determine if they have standing to hear the appeal. Or you can ask the town attorney what to do.
If that went to the county commissioners, we usually get a notice of that.
I was gonna say, where's the
And I don't remember seeing it.
correspondence from them?
We've had one that I know of, and I don't believe it was that one. I know we've only had one, maybe that is the one, but I don't think it was over interest.
It's easy to check, call the county commissioners
Yeah.
and see if that's been heard or not.
So you put the name, Dottie should have notice of it. If Dottie has notice of it, that would be the date that it happened if she claims it went, but
How much is interest involved in that, does it say? I think it's in there.
Um,
Are you kidding?
The next thing on the agenda is the abatement denial. This is signing the abatement that we denied at a previous meeting. So we will sign that. Next one is to sign the municipal deed. This is to remove the liens. Yeah. So I will let the rest of the board look at that.
So this must have been somebody that had a lien and paid their back taxes. I don't know what the law is, but we're deeding it to a dead person. There's two people, and one of them's not alive anymore. So I don't know if we leave the deceased person out. I don't think the gentleman's alive. Maybe he's on the deed still and it's never changed, and that's what we have to do. I just don't know why. I guess I would just question.
Yeah.
I would just question it before we deed it to somebody that's passed away.
Yeah. All right, so we will follow up on that.
What's that? No, just says the two people.
Discussion about paving the municipal building parking lot. Bernie, do you have anything on that?
Yeah, Howard and I have been kind of looking that over, and I know everybody thinks you can just overlay the pavement, and you can't do it. You can't do it. I think the best course of action would be to patch in the holes where it was dug up, have the road commissioner do it, and then I think we have to try to get a request for proposal together to send out to some civil engineering firms. They got to contend with the drainage, the underlayment. We have to dig along the back of the building in the ends because there's water coming in. And in speaking with Dee Dee, we're going to have to lay out some parking spaces to compensate for the people coming to vote. So I think if we're going to do it, let's do it right. We're going to spend a lot of money, and it'll probably take a third to half the money you have in the budget right now just to get a set of plans and specs. But you get it, you put it out to bid. If you don't have the money, you take and put it back in the file and put it out to bid when you think you have enough. No, I just think that's the right way to do it. We have to do things right. If we just patch it 5 years down the road, we're going to be in the same mess we are out there now, and it is a mess.
Through texting the other night, I got hold of a friend of mine who put me in touch with a person at an engineering firm in Portland that he recommended, and then I called another person that I do business with, and he recommended another firm. So I haven't talked to them, but I looked at both websites, and they have surveying capabilities, they have engineering. One of them specifically stated they specialize in stormwater. Now, if that isn't a problem with stormwater out there, I don't know what is. But Bernie's right, we need to I had actually the second person I talked to said he was going to get back to me with another person, but he hasn't yet. But if we put out a proposal, we've got a host of problems there. We've got subsurface problems. We've got water seepage coming in the building. The grade basically is going to have to be dropped, because that water, if they were out there and put hot top on there right now, we'd have a flooded basement, because it's only about that far from the windows right now. And it's going to be, whatever we do out back is going to be carried around the side, so it's going to probably start out in front of the building on both sides and carry through with dropping a grade quite a bit. And not only that, but you have utilities involved. So we have to identify and plus future needs. That's one thing we haven't done, is saying, okay, do we need, for whatever reason, a water spigot out there? We don't know what the hell we're going to do out back. Do we need more electrical lines? What do we need? But once we do this, we make sure we've got all the utilities taken care of, and so we'll never have to dig that up. Because it's been my experience, I've seen a lot of parking lots put in there, and within a month, you got a backhoe out there digging them up, because they forgot something.
Just, I'd like to have the latitude to let Howard and I put our heads together and see if we can't come up with a request for proposal and then bring it to the board, let you guys see what you think about it, and then go from there. I mean, it's nothing that's gonna happen overnight.
Let's have a motion.
Yeah, I don't have a problem. Do you think you can do a good RFP without going to any of these companies and getting feedback or information from them, especially if they're
I
gonna
know
be
two
bidding
of
on
them,
it?
John, they're very reputable.
I know, but do we want the appearance
Information,
that
yeah.
they were involved before we even went
Oh,
out to
no.
RFP?
If you put an RFP out, they will.
They'll come in and bid on it.
They'll come in and bid on it and make the recommendations as to what to do and what you have to do.
All I was
I'm
doing,
100% for
all I
that.
was doing is feeling around and see who's out there that specializes in this kind of
And once we
stuff.
find that, we need to make sure that they receive
'Cause you
that
don't-
RFP, that we get it to them.
Because you don't want to give it to a landscape architect and say they'll take care of it. I've seen horror shows like you wouldn't believe of that bunch.
Steve?
Steve McLean, while you're doing that, are we gonna maybe talk about expanding that way, the parking lot, for another 8, 10 vehicles?
You can do that.
Well, we're gonna do all this, we're short for parking anyway, so do we go another 12 feet or something that makes it for another row over there? I mean,
We've already-
We're gonna put all this stuff out, we might as well go
Well,
for it.
we've talked about that. That's something we'll add, and we'll have a discussion here. We also ought to make a place out there so you can put some blocks up so you can dump the winter sand that people come to pick up.
Well, yeah, if we
Up and
expand-
back of
if
the
we
town hall. We dump it there and we pick it up every year. Why don't we put a nice area out there and done with it? They're probably gonna have to regrade the garden over there. They're gonna have to clean that up. They're gonna have to slope that field somehow to take the water that runs off the field.
I don't think the garden's going back in?
No.
No, all right, so the garden's done, so they can go back 50 feet, cut slope and ditch or whatever. I'm saying, if you're
Supposedly
gonna-
that's supposed to be cleaned up right off.
Well, yeah, that's fine, I'm saying, while you're thinking about it, then you could actually slope back from here back to there and the drainage going around, but just something to think about. If you're gonna put this stuff out, what is it?
I don't know how much you're gonna slope back there. You're gonna hit ledge. Ledge. Yeah. You're gonna hit ledge, so
Yeah, we'll see.
we just have them come in and investigate. We'll put our heads together and tell them what we want, and they'll help us meet the requirements.
Does anybody have an idea what we're gonna need for future parking here?
Well, we got a building ordinance that if this were a new building, based on square footage, what the parking would require. Let's take a look at that and see where that lands us.
Yeah.
We have an ordinance for that anyways, so it's so many spots per square foot. So we could figure that out, and then, as far as getting the handicap, unless it's different for voting than it is, there are companies that'll come out and tell you what you need for handicap for free, that'll do that. But,
Yeah, but if you're dealing with engineering now for.
They'll know that too.
They'll do that.
They'll know that
If
too,
you're having
yeah.
them do the project,
Yeah, they'll
it's
do
all
that, yeah.
inclusive in the project, then it's done.
yeah,
And the only other possibility for more parking is out front, and that wider, not next to the building, but out there. Whatever, you're on the right track to try to do it, but we might as well see if we can expand out here while we're at it.
I think you're gonna have to put some spaces out front anyway. That's gonna be changed around. You know that as well as I do.
The driveway's pretty inefficient.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you need a motion?
I mean, I would put it in a motion, yeah, to allow you guys to start working on that.
Well, to start
I mean-
putting an RFP together, yeah, it's not gonna be done overnight.
No, yeah. I mean, yeah, if you want to make a motion.
Okay, I make a motion that Howard and I be allowed to start drafting an RFP for drainage work, pavement, parking spaces, whatever else we have to do around the municipal building.
second.
All right, motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Perfect. All right, and Bernie, discussion of the brick town hall basement and the old fire station?
You know, Charles and Ricky are trying to assemble some signs up there. And they also need a place to put the town chipper, so they moved some of the old health aid stuff back down in the basement, and there's a bunch of other junk up in there that they have to move out of there so they can get the generator out to take it to Corners. So I got an appointment to meet with Vinnie tomorrow to decide what they're gonna do, and if they're not gonna take it, we either get a dumpster up there and throw it in the dumpster, or have somebody haul it to the dump in a truck. The other concern, there's a bottle or a big 5-gallon container of acid that's in the basement. It has been there ever since I can remember. And I'm trying to get an estimate from Clean Harbors as to how much they charge us to come get it. If it breaks, somebody could get hurt, or if it reacts with what's on the floor, somebody could get overcome in a hurry. And I know that has been there ever since I've been a little kid, which is a long time.
How big is it, you said?
It's gotta be a 5-gallon
one of the-
container. It's like a
The
cardboard.
Poland spring bottles that you put on the machine? Yeah, it's glass.
probably
Maybe the
7 to 10
Historical
gallons.
Society wants
And
it.
it's glass?
Yeah, it's glass in a wooden box.
That sounds like something the Historical Society, no?
I make a motion, we authorize Bernie to find a company to get rid of the
Acid, it says acid right on it.
the battery acid jug at the Brick Town Hall.
Second.
All right, motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Perfect. Did you have something? All right.
I sent an email out, I don't know what day last week there, about when I went over to look for the generator to see how to get it out of there. I sent an email out because back on December 9th, medical equipment has been disbanded by the Lions, and the Sockeye Rescue Club will be taking the used medical equipment and starting a loan club. The equipment will be moved soon. So that was December 9th. So now we're 4 months into it, and that stuff's still there. So I think it's, something to act on. The generator's gone. We went in there, moved everything over, but, the place looks like a mess.
We paid somebody to clean it all out, didn't we not?
Well, this is where something's gone haywire. That's why I sent you guys the
Didn't we hire a
the
guy?
email.
Not the medical equipment, no, because it was going to Sockeye Rescue.
Yeah.
All right.
Vinnie said it kinda slipped through the cracks. He's supposed to have an answer tomorrow, and
Yeah,
if
well,
they don't
that's it.
come get it,
Yeah,
let's
that's
make
it.
it go.
It's
Why are
been
we gonna
since-
move it 3 or 4 times, Steve?
Well, I know, that's what I'm saying. It's been since the 9th, but anyway, we went in there, and luckily I caught Ricky, because Ricky's setting up some of the signs, but now the generator's gone. We put all that stuff in the back, so he has double the room. But if all that stuff's gone, that's a good place for the chipper and a good place for them to, they had some sawhorses assembling stuff. All the signs are up there, and the barricades, if we have an event, are all there. They used to be at the road commissioner's house, so we'd have to go to the road commissioner. I'll try to get some barricades. Now everything is, we might as well utilize that place. But it's just, Sockeye wants the stuff they do, but they told us they were gonna have it out of there, in December, so we light a fire, and if not, it either goes to the dump or CIA or
What would it
whatever.
take to bring to the transfer station? How much stuff?
Probably a couple of pickup
Probably
loads.
maybe a couple pickups, maybe a 1-ton dump truck load or
Yeah,
something.
there's not, it's just that it's just all scattered. We piled it up, John, in the back. It was
Yeah.
just all
I've
scattered.
seen it, yeah, it's crutches
Yeah.
and walkers, and
But there's stuff down in the lower part too now.
it's 90% metal, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's all aluminum.
Everything was moved from the downstairs, was moved upstairs.
The medical
And
equipment,
now
yeah, then the medical equipment, some
now
of
they-
it got moved back
So is there
down.
anything left downstairs
Yes.
other than medical equipment?
Yeah, there's a bunch of the walkers and stuff still down
Other than,
there.
no,
Other than medical equipment?
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that's gotta be out of there. Yeah,
there's stuff other than medical equipment down there?
yeah, yeah, yeah. We,
Take care of it.
90% of it's gone, all right? So
Yeah.
some of the stuff, but like I said, it may have fallen through the cracks, but get it
I'll go
out
up
of
there and
there,
take a
then
look.
Ricky has a nice space to put some of the stuff.
Do you mind dealing with it?
I'll deal with it.
I make a motion, we allow Bernie to confirm whether the medical equipment is going to be taken by somebody as a donation, or we dispose of it at a cost of no more than $500 to the town.
It's going for nothing
Going
down
for
to
metal.
the...
Put it-
Who's gonna haul it?
Okay.
We gotta pay somebody to put,
Pickup load out. Come on.
I'll haul it to the rescue department.
fantastic. So you gotta get rid of it for free.
Bernie was
So-
picking up.
Okay.
All right.
And while we're at that, there's a bunch of stuff in the old fire station too. There's a bunch of mattresses and just a bunch of crap in there. Let's get rid of it.
How about the second floor and the fixtures that are in the hall? Can they be
I'll take-
included in this
I'll take care of
disposal?
them. I'll take care of them.
Thank you.
Bernie, the air conditioning unit still at the old fire station?
I don't know.
That was discussion about they were gonna come to some of the buildings here. It was two brand new ones.
How does this fall under the, I'm just throwing this out there, I may be rubbing sandpaper on a cut. Throwing away that stuff, how does that go about it being town-owned property? Because that got brought up as a huge issue when we tried to get rid of something. It was a major issue, and so I don't want to be,
So,
I don't want to throw it away.
It's unfortunate. We can throw it in the dump and throw it away, but if somebody says, hey, I like that chair, I'd like to have it,
Okay,
you kind of have to say no,
okay,
right? It's lousy, but somebody's going to complain that they got a free chair, right? Even though we're going to throw it in the dump. Let them go to the dump and get it from there. Bring it to the swap shop.
yeah, the unfortunate thing is the town cannot issue those walkers and crutches and anything out. It's a liability
yeah, no,
concern.
we
No,
reached
I think
out to the,
some of the stuff that's in the fire station, people want to take. There's some serviceable office chairs, I won't call them decent. There was some stuff that people asked if they could take,
an air conditioner.
and air conditioner.
They get to the take it check.
So whatever you can bring, I guess, to the take it shop,
No, it was-
let people take it from there.
I'm just saying, it was an issue last time, I don't want that issue to
But-
come back and bite us.
Air conditioners, I mean, we can waive the fee for ourselves, but if they work, they should come here.
Two that are brand new. That's the discussion, if we go back to a minute, it could be used maybe in the library or something, they new efficient ones, they just shouldn't know anyway.
Well, we'll just leave them there until they decide what they want to do with them, that's all.
Well, if they work, we can bring them here.
They're brand new.
If they work,
I
we
mean,
can bring them here
they're
and
a
use them
couple
in the
years
windows.
old.
So where you gonna
They're
put
not
them?
brand new.
We stock them in the basement.
Just
We
for the
got shelves
record.
in the basement for the windows there. Here. Isaac can put them with the rest.
There's a whole bunch going around here in the summer.
We put a whole bunch
Whatever you
in.
want.
And if they don't work, we take them to the transfer station.
Alicia?
Bernie, if, I know that Isaac would be more than happy to help, like, he's taken a bunch of stuff, or helped some with the Bricktown Hall stuff, so, like, you want, I can share his contact with you for the help with the fire department stuff, like, he would certainly help with that.
I just think they get a truck, the guys that are working for diem, if they're not on a call or doing something, they can throw in the back of a truck. Well, they can.
He's great about that.
They'll do it. They'll do it.
I don't work anymore.
So am I still allowed to spend a little money to hire a one-ton truck?
There's a motion?
No, everybody said, I've removed the money because we got, Alicia's gonna come with her truck, Steve's coming with two, Wade's coming with one. We're just gonna,
Won't take long.
stop making phone calls.
Well, I mean, how much stuff is it?
Well, I know,
The medical equipment.
Well, no, you said-
Going
you
down to
said.
sweep the downstairs.
I think we should, whatever.
All right.
What do you want to do?
I make a motion that we allow Bernie to clean out the town hall and expend up to $500 to do it.
I will second that.
All right, there's a motion. There is a second. Is there any more discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Perfect.
The Bricktown Hall maintenance account.
All right, the next thing on the agenda is the liaison for the department heads. This is something that the select board members have liaisons to each department or committee, some committees. The current ones are, John has the town clerk and the tax collector. I have the recreation department, the CEO, and the building advisory committee. And Wade has the road commissioner and fire EMS. Up for a new liaison is the library, transfer station, or treasurer, or is now a good time to reassign all departments to different people. I think that is a good idea as there's new people with certain expertise in certain areas. So if people want to start, Howard, I know you said that you had some recommendations, or I saw that somewhere.
I think you ought to be
Take
the
that.
treasurer's liaison, Brady. You're gonna be able to sign checks, so it doesn't,
I want to do the building inspector.
So the CEO
There was one other one.
the building advisory committee?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll take the library and the transfer station.
I'll do the road commissioner, and we didn't have an official one, but the mowing town properties and cemeteries.
John, you said you were going to do the library and what? Transfer station?
Transfer station.
Transfer.
And this is an easier one, let me check.
Wade said
We're already on the cemetery committee.
Road commissioner.
road.
And the mowing town properties and cemeteries.
Okay.
I'll do fire and EMS.
You gotta take another one, that's just one.
What's left?
Town clerk and tax collector.
I'll do that.
Nope.
I'll do that.
Animal control officer, Steve.
That's not on here as one that we had prior, but I think that is,
that.
yeah. So I will be, I'll stay with rec.
I'm happy to take one of those, if you want to,
I've had rec for 2 years. We've talked 4 times, and it was me reaching out to him. So
Saying it's easy, John, you can't.
yeah, it's
that's why I was willing to take them both. Because Brady's got a lot.
so treasurer.
I'll help you, Brady.
Thank you, Alicia. Animal control.
And rec.
Who has library?
I took the
John.
library.
Library?
And animal control and rec. Gail?
Would Selectman Burnham take the revitalization committee too? Piece of cake,
Yeah, right.
machine.
Put him down.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. I'd look for a motion to change these to what we just discussed.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
No, let's do it.
Everyone's getting ready. All in favor? Thank you. And then review of insurance for the transfer station. We got an email from Joanne. Alicia, is this to add to the insurance?
I'm currently working on that. That needs to be done every year.
Okay.
Where we review the buildings and everything we have and the property. So what I will do is I will get that done for next week, and then everybody can review it and have a chance to look at the numbers. And
When
if
was
they
the
think
last time we put all the buildings, all the town property out for bid for
for
insurance?
insurance,
You
It's
just
been a-
answered,
it-
you just answered,
it's
it's
been a
gonna be done
while.
again.
It's been a while, but I do know that when we did it last time, and we can do it again, it wasn't even close. Most of your commercial insurance ones were 2 and 3 times what
Is
MMA
it through
was.
MMA?
That's what we have now. And I gotta tell you, with the claims we've had, as long as they're keeping us, I don't think we ought to go hunting. They're gonna do a claims report. MMA knows what we have. They've dealt with them. They're not looking to get rid of us. They can't drop us for claims. But if you start going out hunting, I wouldn't want to see where that ends up. I'm not a big fan of MMA, but they have treated us very well with the insurance claims. They've,
At least we know if we're getting a good deal on it. I mean, it doesn't do any harm to go out, but what are they gonna do? Say, well, you're going out against us, so we're gonna drop you?
probably not. I mean, we can certainly put it out.
Be pretty short-sighted on their part.
I think they've
Done great.
they've paid us more than we've paid them for liability insurance. So over the past few years.
And You know, we went through this years ago, Howard, and it was, the coverage wasn't apples for apples. I know when we went to, I forget who it was in Bedford, but we went to them and.
Packman and Carroll?
It was not apples for apples. with what
PC Insurance. No, it's now PC Insurance,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
It just, they didn't have replacement cost on all the fire apparatus and all the stuff. It wasn't even close. It was not even close.
I'm just saying, if we can save ourselves a substantial amount, we ought to look into it, but if you feel otherwise,
I mean, we can take, once we get this list done, we can then send that list out and shop it around and check it. I don't think it, like you said, I don't think it'll hurt. But we can certainly, once we have this report done, it will have all our buildings, the values of everything, the value of everything at the fire station, Joanne's new value down at the transfer station. And any company should be able to quote it. So I don't think it's, I mean, insurance right now, if you look for anything for insurance right now, other than your own house, it's almost impossible to get anyways. But we can try.
All right, so we'll bring that back to next week's meeting once we have the rest of the buildings. That is all I have for new business. I will open it up for hearing of citizens.
Julie Giles, treasurer, just to give an update on what's happening. The checkbook is reconciled through the month of March. We had a good cash flow, we're using it on the rescue checking account. That was given to the selectmen tonight. And I would like to recommend to all the board to watch your emails or correspondence. We got one today trying to get a checking account changed, and it was one of our selectmen. And so, if I don't watch me, that it is your email. If you see anything strange, please let the officers know. And I have a question: do all grants acquired have to be approved by the citizens? Any grant we get, do we have to have that approved by the citizens?
I don't think so unless there is cost involved. So if they,
We got it for nothing, we don't.
if we get it for nothing, but if they say, we're going to give you a fire truck, but you have to bring it to get serviced once a year, then the town would have to.
Okay. And far as your 2025 plan, I mentioned it to John that I'm meeting with them on Thursday at 10 o'clock to meet the new representative. And that's what I've got.
Brady, can you be here for that? I know that's right in the middle of your workday. I didn't think so.
Not with the new job, no.
If I'm around, anybody okay if I come up and meet with them at the
Thank
same time? I helped with the one last year. Julie, I know this cash flow report we talked about needed some tweaking, but the $2,240,028.64 at the end of March, that would be the balance in the checking account at that point?
Yes,
Okay?
that's what, yeah, because one of the other girls did that. And she went right from all of the paperwork that we had in the office. But I'll update it the way you asked me to, and we can get it right back to you.
I guess my only concern is that if that was the balance at the end of March, it was I don't know when I thought it was last week. You said it was $3.1 million.
Everything that we had.
Everything is not just the general account.
No, it was everything in, but that number was before the current checks cleared, correct? That's what I remember.
So as soon as we get the 25's election, getting them there, I start doing it effective this week, I will send you out all your reports to your email.
Can you email us, you should be able to do it before a report, but
Julie?
a
you put
list
in
of,
Mike?
oh, sorry. Can you email us a list of every account we have at any bank? And
Only one,
only one bank or one
Yes.
account?
one bank,
Okay, I just want to make sure that, I assumed it was only one.
yeah,
Can you email us a list of every account we have at Partners Bank
yep,
and what they are for? And even if it is just the online balance, and it doesn't include anything that's out left to be paid, what the balance is in each of those accounts,
I can show you.
whether it's a checking, a CD, a savings,
Yep.
a shoebox,
I'll send them.
any, whatever we have.
Okay,
If we could get that, that shouldn't take a week to get.
no, no,
Okay,
you'll have it right off.
okay.
Okay. I can go through it right now if you want.
No, I don't think you need to do it right now. I just want to make sure that we have it. If you could email it tomorrow, that'd be great.
Dean?
I'm not sure I heard correctly, but are we looking at a tax anticipation note now?
Yes.
Okay. Why so early in the year? I thought it was usually when a town,
Just to get the paperwork started, so we don't get to the point where if we need it, we can get approved for it, and then only use it if needed.
We get it now, we get it approved for now,
okay,
but we don't touch it until we need it.
follow you.
Yeah, but last year, we were kind of behind the 8 ball, and we were getting up close to when we needed it, to getting all the process in place. So that's something you almost, once we realize we're in that position, it's something you almost start the first of the year, just to be ready to act,
Well, that makes sense.
even if it is in September, October, whatever, yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah?
Yeah, Stephen Plain. Last week, you guys were talking about vacations and everything else, so did a little dig in there and stuff, and, you know, our personnel policy, I guess, ought to be updated, because we've got some people working 15, 20 hours, 3 weeks vacation. And we got other people that have worked 12 years, get 3 weeks vacation. Some other people get 1 week vacation, and that was my point last week, and you were talking about vacation time. So I think it's something that the board ought to look at and see what our policy is, and instead of having some people get 3, some get 1 that are new, just to be consistent with it, that's all.
Well, we have a policy,
Right. And you
so depending on how that affects with carryovers and things like that, it should, most people, when they get a payroll check, says you have 52 hours of vacation coming to you, right? It's usually on your, I mean, I don't get a pay stub, but don't people's pay stubs usually show their vacation hours remaining?
Yes,
So ours do that or not?
Yes.
Okay? Are they accurate?
supposedly from what we gave the information to MRI.
Okay, so,
Yeah, I'm not talking about earned time.
I'm not talking about, well, I'm not talking about time, I'm talking about vacation pay.
Okay.
Oh, vacation, I mean, well, I don't get it, so it's not on my pay stub.
Is vacation time on the pay stubs?
It's on the ones that have it.
On the ones that have it?
Yes, sir.
So that number should, every person should start with a certain number every year, right? If it's in the policy, whatever 10 years you should have, if you've been here 10 years, you get that plus whatever you're allowed to carry over, and that's in the policy also.
Right.
So that
I'm just
should be
saying,
a-
if somebody's here a year, they get a week. 2 years, is it 2 weeks, 3 years?
Are you asking what it is?
Well, that's
Or
what
are you saying what it is?
that's what I'm saying. It seems like here,
It's in the policy, we have a policy of what people should get.
But then there's, like, I'm just gonna use you for example. Julie has 8 weeks budgeted, but the policy says that it's her second year, so she should have 2.
right.
Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay. So how does that go? Does that
no,
go?
Elective,
I-
and that doesn't, we don't call it elective, because you don't.
Right, elected officials, that's what I'm saying. It's so confusing, because last week, you know, somebody's saying you got 4, then you got 8 and 6, and when you hire somebody, does it go by our personnel policy that says a year, a week, 2 years this, 2 years that? Now, when you people hire people or appoint people, I guess it's your discretion to say, all right, we're gonna give you a couple of extra weeks. That's what I'm saying ought to be tightened up, okay? So, 'cause, you know, there's somebody that just got appointed, he has got 3 weeks vacation. Well, how do we, you know, what's the personnel policy? It's either we don't have it, or we have it. You know, like I said, I had somebody who's been 12 years, they get 3, and I got somebody that was just hired and they get 3. So, it's probably, somebody can say it's your discretion, but we ought to be consistent. If we have a personnel policy that says 1 year, 1 week, then I guess we ought to stick to it. So it's something you guys can look into. I don't want to shock you tonight on it, but it's just, there's no consistency. Yeah, if you're hired, and that's what I'm saying, I was trying to explain to Bernie last week that whatever you guys made with the prior board, but that goes against our personnel policy. That's what I'm saying. There's a flaw there. It's a loophole.
I thought elected officials didn't get vacation.
I
They
don't,
can come and go as they want.
Yeah.
I thought the vacation time was put in to cover for their person that was gonna fill in for them.
I don't know. I'm just saying it's something that
Well, I don't know.
now
I
is
thought it was
exposed.
just employees. Are you considered employees or are you elected officials?
Depends what day it is. Not on her, the problem is, if you ask the IRS, they're gonna say she's an employee, no question.
Well,
She gets hurt, she's getting workman's comp,
okay.
but she's an elected official. If we don't like her, she can stand, I'm pointing out anybody.
I'll bring up an example. When I first joined the board, I was considered an employee of the fire department because I worked per diem shifts. Therefore, I could not be the board and an employee of the fire department. However, if I didn't work a per diem shift and was on call and got paid for that call, I was considered an employee, but it didn't go against the policy because I wasn't an employee in somebody's eyes here.
Well, because we allowed, but the tax collector, the town clerk, the treasurer are the 3 biggest ones that are elected,
Yeah.
and they are salaried positions. But by law, we have to cover them. We pay their taxes, we take out their taxes, we have to have workman's comp on them, all of that. So when I say it depends what day it is, we've gone through this before, and we've had MMA, we've asked our attorney, I think we've even questioned the IRS, like, how do we classify these people? And it's, for certain things, they're employees, and other things, they're not. It's just,
I'm just saying, we
Yeah.
ought to sometime look
well,
at.
this is clear this is definitely clear, because this states full and permanent part-time positions and what they get. I guess the question would be, if somebody comes into a position and they've got 10 years of experience, do you count that, right? Like, if they work somewhere 10 years, that's not service to Limerick, but if you're bringing somebody in that has some experience, do you knock them down and say, well, geez, you got 10 years into this, your last job gave you 2-3 weeks, we're gonna bounce you back to 1?
Okay, but if you take the person that works 40 hours versus the person that's 15-20, does the person 15-20 get 3 weeks vacation, the person 40 get 1? So
It doesn't have anything to do with the hours. If the
Well, it should
person
have to do
if the
with it,
person
because
getting 3,
15 to 20, you're
it should be on
part-time.
your average, so if somebody works 15 hours a week, when they take vacation, they don't get paid 40 hours for 3 weeks. They should get paid 15 for the 3 weeks.
Right, but.
And that's how we should be tracking it.
Right, but it should be, our personnel policy says 1 year, 1 week. That's what I'm saying. We're not following that. Doesn't seem like we're following it.
Well, I guess the question is where it says completed years of service. Do you look at that as completed years of service to the town or completed years of service in their occupation? Right, I mean, that is probably something we should tweak in that policy is,
Should be to the town.
what's that?
Should be to the town.
Well, see, there again, it's a good discussion to have.
I get it, and we should have the discussion, but if you are a teacher and you teach somewhere for 10 years and then you go to another school, another district, they take that 10 years of service and you start at year 11.
Does your tenure carry over at that 10 years? Don't you have to work 3 years? Or you used to have to work 3
No,
years
not
as
10
a
years.
school system to get tenure. And if you go to another one, does your tenure carry over, or does it start again?
Well, I think most, no matter how long you worked at a previous school, you're still a probationary teacher for your first and second. I believe that's to be true unless somebody's contract reads differently. But I do know that if you work 10 years at the SAD 57 district and you go over to Bonnie Eagle, your pay starts at year 11. You don't go back to year 1.
Right, that's, in teaching it's that way.
But
You know.
I guess if you're all right, let's say you're not a teacher. Let's say you're a accountant for a law firm or for a business, and you go to another firm, and you've been an accountant for 15 years. I mean, you're going to negotiate. You're not going to negotiate 1 year's salary,
Well,
1 week's vacation.
That's right, you hit the word, negotiate.
Negotiate.
Yeah.
But our personnel policy doesn't say the selectmen have the right to negotiate that
Well, it says
vacation.
completed years of service. So if Julie comes in and says, Julie came in and said she's got 19 years of accounting history in a similar job. So I'm not going to debate yes or no whether we offered the 4 weeks or not. But if she comes in and says she's got 19 years, it could be argued that she'd be entitled to 4 weeks because she's been in that service for 19 years.
But then we should tweak our thing. That's all.
Well, we should clarify that years of service, either they have to be with the town or they don't, and then that's, but it's, we can leave it up to the discretion of the select board
Sounds
also.
like a workshop deal to me.
Yeah, I mean, that's another, I mean, as we go over these policies, you know, on a rotating basis, that's one that's gonna come up.
In private business, this is handled with a letter of acknowledgement or confirmation of what is negotiated. So if our treasurer came to a board when they're first hired and you all agree on something, there should have been a document that followed up on that agreement and both parties signed, and then that document goes to payroll. I'm sure it would include benefits, might include pay, could include other things that you agree upon for that individual based on your feelings of hiring that elected official. So that's all you had to do. That's all you had to do. And it's at your discretion.
Personnel file, too.
And it would go into the personnel file, of course. It goes to payroll, personnel file, whatever. And that would have taken care of anything with any elected official. You could do that, and that's the end of it.
An offer letter.
Well, if
Right.
elected officials aren't covered really by the personnel policy, it's really all the hourly
Well,
ones.
let's look at, we can take the example, because she's right here.
Yeah,
Julie ran for treasurer.
yeah,
By the time she ran, the budget was already done.
yeah.
So we didn't, at the time, she could have come in and said, I don't want this job unless you pay me more. And then we would have had to gone to a special town meeting to do it. But she took the position at the time at that rate.
Sure.
That's, well, it's public knowledge that that's your pay. Right? That's what it is, so.
But you gave her, I'm not sure what you gave her, but whatever you agreed upon in that executive session after she became treasurer could have been handled in a letter of agreement, a confirmation of what you all said to each other. You all sign it, you send it to payroll and personnel file, whatever
I don't
the
think
rules are.
we can't do that, and then it wouldn't be an executive session.
Well, we could come out of executive
And
session
explain.
and say, this is what we've done and this is what we've.
You don't
Now,
have a contract
and
with them.
I know, but this is where it becomes, again, it's a little, not slippery, but like we've done that with the fire chief. We've met with the fire chief.
Correct.
We've negotiated his desires and our desires for him.
Correct.
And then we come out and vote on his contract,
Right,
and everything's laid out. Right
Correct.
down to his vacation.
right.
So we
So
could
why
have
is she
done,
any different?
well, because she's elected and we can't
Okay.
give her any more money.
Well,
But
that's
I guess the
fine.
other things in this, I say it's a learning curve, like, when's the last, we haven't had 20 years, right? Like, it's not like this happens every 2 or 3 years,
Right.
right? Laura was here for 20 years, Judy's been here for 20-plus years, Dee Dee's, so those positions haven't changed, but that's, now we live and learn. Like now, when the next person comes in, we can say, how are we going to handle this, and agree to it and do it. You know, it's lesson learned, but the fact that it hasn't been done in 20 years, not an excuse, but it's just not in the forefront of our mind.
Correct. But it's just a suggestion that that's one way.
Great suggestion.
One way to handle it, and another way is to put a job description in the nomination papers, so that person.
That outlines it.
That outlines something, whatever you all decide.
Yeah.
And then everybody understands who they're, including the person who's circulating papers, that this is the job.
This is what it
and
pays.
people are signing it, and they understand what they're signing. Okay, so that's another thing you can do. You don't have to, but that's another thing. Thank you.
You could also do an elected official ordinance. Or a whole personnel policy for them. That just happened.
We could, they call it a charter. We could.
Could have a town manager write it too.
We could have a town manager write it.
All right. Is there any other hearing of citizens? I see none. I look for a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
Don't hold me on this, guys. All right, all in favor? Perfect. Thank you, guys.